Hello everyone, welcome to the Data Analysis with Python training program. Today we are going to start our module 2 Python Basics. In lecture 2 we are going to study understanding Python basics. In this lecture we are going to study about the basics of Python. So let's start with the first question, that is, what is Python? First of all we will understand what is Python, then we will move towards the coding with Python. Python is a high-level, interpreted, interactive and object-oriented scripting language. It has been created by Guido van Rossum and first released in 1991. Python is easy to understand and syntax of Python is also easier. So anyone who wants to start his programming career, so for beginners Python is the best choice for learning as it is easy to learn and it requires less code. Python is called as interpreted language. Python is processed at runtime by the interpreter. You do not need to compile your program before executing it. This is similar to Perl and PHP, while in other languages like C, C++, Java, we have to first compile the language, then we go for the further processes. Python is also called as interactive language because you can actually sit at Python prompt and interact with the interpreter directly to write your programs. Python is also called object-oriented because Python supports object-oriented style or technique of programming that make your code within the objects. Then we also call Python as a beginner's language because Python is great language for the beginner level programmers and supports the development of wide range of applications such as website development. You can also develop games and simple text processing. For more details about Python, you can also visit the link given on the screen and link is also mentioned in the description. You can get the basic idea about Python in details there. It's a video developed by us and it is available on YouTube. So go and visit the video for the further details about Python. So let's explore Python with the help of Jupyter. Before moving to that, we will also show you how to use Python from the interpreter. Now I am going to show you how to use Python with the help of idle and as well as how to use Python with the help of Jupyter. We are going to work our whole training on Python Jupyter. So let's see how we can use Python with the help of Python idle. So you have to scroll to the Python 3.8 and then open the idle and you can write your code in this window. Python is called as interpreted language. Why we call Python as interpreted? Let's see. In other language like C, C++, Java, you have to first write the code, then you have to compile it, then go for the running the code. Okay, but in Python you can directly run the code like this. It will directly give you the output. Print hi and it will print the output just below the code. Means it is actually working on your code directly without any delay. Python is processed at runtime by the interpreter, means you are writing the code and Python is evaluating it. Alright, now I am going to show you Python is called interactive language. Why Python is called interactive? I have said that you can sit at Python prompt and interact with it. Yes, you can. Ask the Python 22 plus 56, it will give you the output. Ask the Python 84 plus 85, it will also give you the output. Ask Python 78 multiplied with 25, it will give you output as 1950. You are asking the question from the Python and it's giving you the result on your screen, means you are directly interacting with Python. You don't need to compile it before running any program. You are just typing the code and it giving you the output. You can write anything at will, but please make sure you are writing the right syntax because Python is fully based on syntax and indentation. So focus on Python syntax and indentation, otherwise Python will abuse you in red typed text like this. If you are going to use like this Python and then hit enter, it will abuse you in red text. Python use red color for abusing. So please, if you are getting red text from Python, it's not a good thing. So try to get the things in blue. It is better to understand as well as you will be not be in trouble. So now I am going to show you how to use Jupyter Notebook for Python programming. Okay, so let's start. Go to a start menu, then go for Anaconda, and then start the Anaconda Navigator. Anaconda Navigator. You may simply just type in search Jupyter Notebook like this, and you can directly start by double clicking on it, but I will request you to start with Anaconda so that you can use all the libraries and other steps of Python which is already installed within the Anaconda module. In Anaconda environment, there are a lot of things will be installed such as Plotlib library, Pandas library, NumPy library in further. So always try to open the Anaconda Navigator, then go for the Jupyter Notebook. It will take some time, and then when you will get the window, the person who don't have laptop, they have another one. That one is you can directly type try Jupyter in Google, and then you will get the first link, project Jupyter, try Jupyter. Then click on that link, and then you will get a prompt like this. A window will open like this. Then tap on try classic notebook. It will take you to the Jupyter Notebook. It's actually given for the trial of anything. You can also bug here. So there is not any issue for the phone users. So I'm opening the Jupyter. Here you will get the window of Jupyter. For using the Jupyter program, you have to just, let's see, you will get a window like this, Anaconda Navigator. You have to click on launch Jupyter Notebook. You will click on launch, then a window like this, a new window will open in Chrome browser like this. I am closing this Jupyter Notebook and opening it with the help of Anaconda Navigator. So you will get a window here from the Jupyter. It will actually work on the web browser, but you don't need any internet connection. But when you are using with the phone, then you must have internet connection because you will be working on other server. So you will get a prompt like this. It actually opens up the users folder from your system, the drive where your OS is installed. It shows the users folders here. All right. So you will get a window like this when you are using on phone. So you can tap on file, then go to Python 3, then you will get same window like this. All right. Now I am going to show you how to use Python. Okay. So just first create a new file by creating on new, then go to Python 3 and first of all rename it with data analysis. Rename it as Python basics data analysis so that you can use this file in the future, and don't confuse with the file name. I have renamed it with Python basics data analysis. Now we are going to write our first program in Python. So in other language we have started with hello world. So let's start with the hello world. In Python, for writing any syntax or printing any text, you have to use the command print, and then you have to use parenthesis because Python understands print function, print as a function. So when you are going to type like this, then you will get output like this. But when you will miss parenthesis, it will gives you the output like error because it doesn't understand the print statement without any parenthesis. Python always understand print as a function. Okay. So we have written the first program in Python, print hello world. This one is going to be fun because Python is most easy to understand rather than other language. So let's start with the lines and indentation. Python basically depends on lines and indentation. You cannot put a wrong indentation, otherwise you will always get an error. Okay, Python provides no braces to indicate blocks of code for class and function definition or flow controls. Python uses only brackets for functions and flow controls. Okay, blocks of code are denoted by indentation. A single block is denoted by indentation, and then like this, if you are using like if true, print true, okay, else print false. The whole block of code is called as a block of code, and a single line, this one, you can see that if a statement, after end of if a statement, it is taking an indentation, means a white space from the beginning. So these spaces are so much important in Python. You cannot remove this space, like I am removing this and running this. It will give you the error like expected an indented block. If you will put an indentation, it will show you not any error. So in Python, indentation is so much important. Always note that Python always works on indentation. That's why it is easy to understand. When you are writing a lot of bulk of code and you are writing in a single line, then you might have trouble to read the code. But when you are writing with indentation, then there will not be an issue to read the large code. So indentation is so much important, and practice to put an indentation in writing other language programs also. Multi-line statement. Python also supports multi-line statements. Means you can write a multiple line and it will treat as without any issue. Means like this. I am assigning days is equal to Monday, and then I am putting comma and writing Tuesday. Look here, I have broken the line here and coming to the second line, but it will not display any error because Python supports multi-line statements. So remember, Python also supports multi-line statements. Quotation in Python. Like other language, quotation in Python is also used for different purpose. See, it also accepts single quote as well as double quote. It also accepts triple quote. Means if you are writing a quote under a quote, means like this, like you are using print hi, this is Himanshu's platform, then you will get not an error. You are actually using triple quotes, means quotes inside the quotes, so there will be not an issue. But when you are using a double quote here, then you will be in trouble. You cannot use double quote within double quote. You can only use single quote within double quote, or double quote within single quote. Okay, so remember all these things. And now I am moving towards comments in Python. For writing any comment, you have to put a hashtag, then you can write anything. Comment in Python. It will treat all the things written just after hashtag as comment. So it will not perform any output. It will treat it as a comment and it will not interpret the line. Now I am going to show you how to take input from the user. So for taking input from the user, we use input function in Python. Means when you will use input function, then it will wait for the user to put a value and then it will operate on that. So when you are going to put like this, then it will take the input from the user. You can take any input from the user by using input function like this, print, sorry, take input and then ask the user for enter the number, and then it will display like this, enter the number, and it will ask the user for the input. Okay, so we can take input like this. Now we will move for the further section, that one is variable assignment. So there are some rules for variable assignment, and that one is you cannot assign a variable name starting with a number. Means you cannot assign a variable name which is being started with a number. You can use any number or string or character for variable name, except some predefined keywords of Python. Means you cannot use the keywords which are already defined in Python. Rather than that, you can use anything for the variable name. You can also not use any symbol, is not accepted as variable name, except underscore. Means you can use underscore in variable name. You can also start a variable name with underscore, but you cannot use any other symbol like star, asterisk, which we call it asterisk, hashtag, @ symbol, exclamation marks, slash, forward slash, backward slash, or any brackets like parenthesis, curly braces, and square brackets. You cannot use all these things. You can also not use angle brackets. All right. So these are the things for the variable assignment. So for assigning a variable, the syntax for variable assignment is, first you have to write variable name, then put a equal to symbol, and then write the value of variable, value for the variable. By using just a simple syntax, you can assign a variable like this. I am putting a variable a is equal to 56. So whenever I am going to call a, it will display it as 56. Means you can assign a variable without predefining any data types. Like in C, you have to define like this, integer a is equal to 56. So it will display you a error like this. You cannot use data types in this. Okay, you can use like this, integer. By removing integer, you can assign a value. Okay, so we don't need to assign a variable to a value without using any data types. You can assign anything like this, 56.78. This one is a float value. So here it is. You can also assign a string. For using a string in Python, always remember you must have to use quotation. You cannot write a string without quotation. So I am writing a string. So whenever I am going to call b, it will write it as a string. Alright. So when I am writing the string like this, then it will display error because the string is not defined. Why? When you are going to put it in quotation, it will treat it as a string. Means Python treat everything inside a quotation as a string. Okay. So when you are going to put a number inside a quotation, it will also treat it as a string like this. So when you are going to put this, it will display like this. In numbers, there is not any quotation mark, but in string you will get always a quotation mark in the output. Okay, you can perform a variable with variable operations like this. For a is equal to 45, b is equal to 75. You can perform operations like a plus b, a minus b. You can perform any arithmetic operation on variables. Alright. We use a modulus symbol as percentage for the remainder section. Means when we need a remainder, means what is going to be a remainder on division of a number, then we use the percentage symbol for getting out the remainder, and for quotient part we use slash symbol. Alright, forward slash is used for, here is the operators in Python. Addition operator, or we can also call it, for addition we use plus symbol, subtraction we use minus symbol or dash, for multiplication we use asterisk, for division we use slash, and for modulus operation we use percentage. Alright, so these are the operators in Python. Now I am going to cover the first data type, that one is numbers. There are two types of numbers in Python. One is integer type and another one is float type. And integers are denoted by I and T, and float or decimal numbers are denoted by float. So when you are going to check your data types, then you will get the result of numbers as two values, that one is integer and float. Means Python understand two types of numbers, one is integer and another one is float. Alright, so let's see, if you are assigning like this, a is equal to 56, and you will check the type of a, then it will display you as I and T, means this one is a integer type variable, means the value assigned to this variable is a integer type number. Alright, so when you are going to write like this, b is equal to 78.96. Alright, so when you are going to check the type of this, then you will get float, means there is the value stored in b is a float type number. Alright, so there are two types of number, integer and float. You can perform any operations, basic operations on these numbers like this, 5 plus 2, 4 plus 5. Remember, in Jupyter, for running any cell you have to just press shift then enter, shift plus enter. If you are using enter, then it will take a space like this, but when you are using shift plus enter, then you will get the output. So you can perform addition, subtraction, multiplication, as well as division, and also modulus. Alright, sorry, I have mistaken the modulus symbol. Modulus. See, here I have uses 12 modulus 2, and it is giving output as 0, because when we divide 12 by 2, then we get 6 as quotient and 0 as remainder. So it is actually displaying the remainder. When you are going to divide 13 divided by 2, then you are going to get remainder as 1, and see, here is the output. You can perform a large operation with Python without any issue, and it will show you the output without any delay. Means Python is so fast to calculate these things. If you are going to calculate this number in your calculator, you will get the answer in exponents part, like e to the power something, but in this you can use simply like this way. Alright, and I have missed one thing, that one is power. You can use power by using two continuous asterisks, then you will get the power of that number. You can also apply power on numbers like this. Sorry, I have used a single asterisk. You can use on float also. So for using power, we use double asterisk in continuation. Alright, so this is all about numbers. Now I am going to talk about strings. A strings in Python is always put in quotation, means like this, hi, then it will display you hi. You can also put it in double quotation, it will also display you the issue, it has not any issue. You can also assign like this is an example, means I am writing a full syntax and it will display the output like this. You can also put the same thing in double quotation, this is an example, and you will get the output like this. Alright, now we will move for the further thing, that one is operations on strings. You can concatenate two strings like this, hi, hello, and it will display you like this, hi, hello. It has concatenated those two strings and not putted any space, because here there is no space, here is also not a space. When you are going to put a space here, you will get a space between the two strings. Alright, you can also perform multiplication, means you can repeat the string by using asterisks. You will get like this. This one has printed the high string 25 times. Alright, so we can perform these things here. There are some methods you can also use on this, like I am assigning a is equal to hello. Now when we are going to use some methods, then we have to put a, then dot, and hit tab, means variable name, then dot, then tab. Press the tab continuously until you get this type of window. You can perform this much methods on a strings, means you can I have used translate, use upper for making all the characters in uppercase. So when you are going to do this, it will do like this, but it will not change the actual string, because it one is only taking the copy of that and doing this thing. You can also perform other methods like a dot lower, and it will convert all the characters in lower case. See, the output is in lower case. Again, it has not changed the value. Okay, so you can also perform different operation methods by like this, count, and then put a string, means I want to count e in the, sorry, I have put it, forget to put the quotation. So you can count a number of times a particular character is used in a string by using count method. Alright, so we can also perform other methods like hit tab, then you will get the options. You can use find, format, index, is alpha, is ASCII, is decimal, is lower, is numeric, is a space, is title, is upper. You can use all these methods, so try it at home. Alright, now I am going to show you a membership operator on a string, means if I am going to ask e in a, then it will say as true, because e is present in hello string. If I am going to ask that a in a, then it will return it as false, because there is not any character a in the variable a, because hello doesn't contain a character a. Alright, so you can ask these questions as membership operator from the string. Alright, so perform all these things at your home, and in the next lecture we are going to cover about list, dictionaries, tuples, and then we will move towards the main analysis section, means we will start then NumPy. So practice all these things, and then we will perform other methods also. We will also learn how to use for loop, while loop, because these things are going to be useful in the section. So first, go through these things. For more details, you can also visit our YouTube channel HSR High Tech Solutions, and there you will get a playlist of Python for beginners. If you have not studied Python, so go to this channel and go through all the lectures, so that you can understand the Python better, and then you will be comfortable to perform the data analysis with the help of Python. I am covering all the things in short, because I am covering all those things which are required for this training. I am not covering the whole Python thing. So don't get panic. visit the YouTube channel and you will get the lectures there for the Python, where you will get the details of these things. Means you will get a particular lectures on numbers, particular lecture on strings. So don't worry, go through all those things, and that's all about today. We will be studying all the things from tomorrow onwards. So it's time to end the lecture. So thank you. See you all in the next lecture.